Hey, this is Jonny Bowden. I want to ask you a question. Have you ever noticed that nutritionists aren't talking about weight loss anymore? And that fitness gurus practically never talk about working out anymore? I want to tell you why that is, and I want to give you some experience that I've had myself with it in my 30 years of doing this stuff, because I almost never talk about how to lose weight anymore, and it's where I started. I was the AOL weight loss coach, and then I was the iVillage weight loss coach, and I've been a weight loss coach all my life. I wrote books about it. I wrote books about food, like the 150 healthiest foods, and how to live a low-carb lifestyle, and I've written weight loss programs like the Metabolic Factor. So why don't I talk about this stuff anymore? And why do so many exercise gurus talk about other things than working out? I don't know how many of you know my friend JJ Virgin. Great fitness and exercise guru. She's been around for a long time. She started out telling people how to get sexy arms. Now she tells them how to get a magnificent life. How does that happen and why? And I figured this would be a good time to talk about that because there's so many t-shirts that say stay in your lane. You might be wondering why somebody who's trained in nutrition would be talking about such a wide variety of topics that have to do with stress reduction and meditation and visualization and relationships and community and all the other things I talk about navigating life. How did that become my lane, you might wonder, and not just about me, but about all the gurus that are talking about this stuff. And I'll tell you why we do that. So when I started out at Equinox in 1990s, I was a trainer, and the number one reason everybody came to the gym was to lose weight and get in shape. And all they wanted to do was lose weight and get in shape, and that's what we did. We gave them diets, we gave them exercise programs, we helped them lose weight and get in shape. And what I found out, was that all that was kind of like if you go to a tennis teacher and they feed you balls and you hit them all day long. You know what happens when you take hours and hours of lessons with a tennis teacher who throws tennis balls to you all day long? You get good at hitting balls that are thrown to you. You get zero skills about how to play tennis in real life when balls come at you from all directions. And that's kind of what happens with weight loss. Sure, you can give me a diet, I can tell you what to eat. If it doesn't work, we can tweak it, we can figure it out, we can count calories, we can count the number of milligrams of selenium in your diet, we can do all that. But when it comes down to it in the real life, when you have to put that into practice, what you often find is that things stop you from doing that. I often say when I lecture that there is nobody on the planet Earth that smokes that ever said, wait a minute, you mean cigarettes cause cancer? I didn't know that. Holy smokes, let me throw out my Marlboros. Never gonna happen. Because people don't do what they do simply because of information. And that's the beginning of why nutritionists start to talk about other things. People stop themselves from doing things that they know that they ought to do or want to do or even are committed to doing for many, many reasons. Hormonal, stress, cultural, social approval, fear, self-imposed glass ceilings, limitations. And that big juicy mix is really what gets people where they want to be. Not counting calories, not even counting grams or macros or any of that stuff. Is it important? Of course it is. If I didn't think nutrition was important, I wouldn't have spent my life studying it and teaching it. But what I found out is that what interferes with people's getting what they want out of a nutritional or an exercise program, what interferes with that often has to do with things that aren't technically in the lane of nutrition, but perhaps should be. Digestion, your microbiome, your hormones, your stress levels, how much of your fat-storing insulin is stimulated by the food that you eat. And what does that do to your mood? Or what does your mood do to your hormones? Because they speak to each other. In fact, there's an entire science called psychoneuroimmunology that simply studies how your thoughts influence what happens in your body hormonally, metabolically, every way you can imagine. So as I worked in the field with real life people, with real life issues and real life problems and real life hormones and real life relationships, all of which impacted whether they were getting the goals that they wanted to get to or not, I realized pretty quickly that just talking about nutrition is not where it's at. Because there's a whole world in your head and in reality that impact your metabolism, your thoughts, your feelings, your immune system, your susceptibility to cravings, and your ability to handle them. Well, when you talk about cravings and weight loss, you're also talking about the ability to kind of self-control. When you talk about self-control, now all of a sudden you're in another arena, which is your entire life, right? Which is how you communicate, which is whether you can stop yourself from acting right away and maybe think about something for a day, because that's very tied to being able to stop yourself from eating something that you know is going to make you feel horrible, look horrible, and feel bad about yourself in the morning. But we don't stop ourselves there, and we find, those of us who observe people for a living and work with people for a living, find that when we don't stop ourselves in those areas, that often transfers to other areas in our life. So I've had weight loss clients when I was doing one-on-one coaching a lot that I had for a year. They lost the weight, or they didn't, in the first couple of months. But that's about the last time that we spent an entire session just talking about what they ate. I wanted to know how they felt. I wanted to know how they slept. I wanted to know if they had any allergies. I wanted to know if they had any allergies to people. I wanted to know if they had any toxic relationships that were driving their cortisol levels through the roof and therefore influencing their ability to store body fat or lose it. Because it's all related. And the people who have that vision to see life unfold like that know that it is never about the number of calories you take in. That would be like saying being a great tennis player, being a great competitor is all about whether you can hit the ball when it comes out of your tennis teacher's racket, feeding it to you. That ain't where it's at all. So we health gurus have learned how magnificent and complex this human body is, and how inseparable it is from what happens in the human mind. There's no nature versus nurture anymore. They're completely commingled. They completely talk to each other. And any health professional who doesn't understand that and only works in one small area may be performing a service. Like, I want the guy, if I have something wrong with my thumb, I want to go to a thumb specialist, but I don't want to go to a thumb specialist to talk about my life. And really, when people come to lose weight or change their body, it is usually a manifestation of a desire to change something else in their life, to change something, not just to look better, but if you really question, as I have so many times, people who came to me for weight loss, and you go, well, really, why do you want to lose weight? Because I really want to look good for my college reunion. Okay, but why? Well, I want everybody to see, how great I look. Okay, but why? Well, because I want people to feel that I was successful and that I accomplished something, okay? And if you keep digging, maybe I would meet someone, or maybe something would happen magical that would change my life. And that's what you gotta go for. And as a health professional, if you skip that part and you just talk about why you wanna lose weight and how to lose weight in terms of counting calories, you're missing the most important and essential parts of that human being that you're talking to. And that's why we don't just talk about diet anymore. That's why we don't just talk about exercise. We talk about what a person really wants to do and what they really need to do to transform, to become more, to see other facets of their personality evolve and blossom. That's really what weight loss is about at the core. And so many people used to say to me, it was the best compliment I ever had as a weight loss coach was people say to me, I came to you to lose weight, but I stayed with you because it changed my life. That's what health professionals want to do. We want to change your life. We don't want to just change your waistline. And that's why we get into all these other things, and that's why we talk about them. That's why Oprah doesn't just talk about dieting anymore. She talks about having a magnificent life, because that starts with maybe diet, or with wanting to make a change, or wanting to stop drinking, or wanting to do something else. It's a portal into change, into transformation. But you don't want to stop there. Not you as the client, not us as the health professional, not anyone. You don't want to stop there. You want to look at what is possible out of that. So if you come for the weight loss and you get into it, well, the way you do that weight loss program may indeed be a mirror into the way you do the rest of your life. One of my old friends, T. Harv Eker, the author of the Millionaire Mind book, great book, used to say, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. It's not always true. It's not true 100% of the time. But you can often find some clues about who you are, and by looking at how you behave in various situations. There's a lot of continuity there sometimes. And how you do your weight loss program often is a window into how you do your life. I don't have time to cook. Oh, really? I don't have time to pick out the good foods. Oh, they're more expensive, but I have time. I have money for $5 lattes at Starbucks. It causes you to look at some things, to really evaluate what's important and what's not. And that is the opportunity when people try to lose weight or get in shape. The opportunity is that can be a window into the most important things in your life. And if you know how to use that, it can transform you. This is Jonny Bowden. I hope you like this. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.